Hey guys, how you doing? Coach Mitch here. This is for my veterans out there today. I'm going to give you 5 points about the CBP interview that I want you to think about this before you go into it. Now, we know that being a veteran, you do have a few advantages there in the CBP interview. However, a lot of my guys who get into my coaching program, they're like me, they have this confidence already because they're prior military, but that's not going to be enough to get you past the CBP interview. And there are a number of things because the panel is evaluating you on how you communicate, how you think, and how you apply judgment. And those will always work from a military background to a paramilitary environment, which is CBP. It doesn't always translate over as well as you think it does. So the first point is here. I want you guys to always think about you want to use some of that military language for sure. The language is definitely important there, but they're not grading you on just your language as if you're still in uniform. They're not looking for that only. They want to know that you have the ability to speak in plain English also, right? Not so many acronyms because they don't know what every acronym is because your average CP officer is not always a military person. Yes, they use acronyms, but theirs might mean something different from yours, right? So I tell all my vets every time, break it down so we understand what's going on, right? Whatever you use for the acronym that's military, break it out. Don't just use the acronym and say, oh, they understand what I'm talking about, because they don't, right? So you got to understand that. Now, number 2 is going to be command presence versus aggression. Now, this is an issue. Some of my guys come to me, and I coach them, of course, right? But they have this, what I call the old days, right? Because we are taught to be a little aggressive. You guys know how it is already, to have pure control of the situation, right? So sometimes this can be perceived as being too forceful, and we don't want to be that person who's going over the top when you're wearing that CBP uniform or BP uniform, whatever, right? Because CBP is looking for a controlled response, someone who's showing emotional maturity. That's a huge one too, right? Emotional maturity, you see a lack of that a lot when you go to YouTube, right? You see people in uniform acting before they think. And they're doing these egregious things, crazy things out there because they're not thinking before they act, or they're easily triggered. They don't want that when you come to them with your answers that show that you are also acting before you think. They want you to use professional communication. They're not looking for someone to be dominant. That's not the issue. They want someone who's going to understand how to enforce these paramilitary type rules, which is CBP, and who can also present themselves in a way that doesn't show aggression. It shows control of the situation at all times, because aggression is not the same as control of the situation, right? Aggression is great for, say, the battlefield, but doesn't fit in very well with these paramilitary type organizations. And so you have to be careful there, right? Another thing too is, you want to be able to show judgment, not just you following orders, right? They don't want robots. There's a mindset in the military where you follow chain of command, blah, blah, every time, right? And well, sometimes they want you to say that, I followed orders and then I did this, right? You guys in my coaching program already know I have 5 points to every answer we give, right? That's how it is, at a minimum 5 points. Well, if you're just saying I followed orders, that's the military, right? But what comes next? If you can't fill in the other 5 points that you did, then we have a problem for sure, because you have to show that you're going beyond that you can make decisions also, right? That you know how to use your brain, you know how to figure out right from wrong, and you can do those kind of things, right? That's very important. Number 5 is this: don't downplay accountability. A lot of times I get with my veterans and they're kind of discussing their mistakes because of how they were trained. Well, you don't want to do that. In the interview here, you want to discuss your mistakes, of course, right? But here's the difference. CBP wants you to own your mistakes. They want you to show that responsibility for that mistake, because then you want to talk about this, how you grew, right? How you reflected upon your error and how you grew from that error and you became a better person, a better officer, a better whatever you want to say it is, right? They're looking for that, not just to say that you made a mistake or you followed orders. They need more than that for sure, right? Last one is this: is you have to be integrity filled. That means that if you have anything in your answers that show that you're questioning the integrity of the mission, you're questioning the mission itself, no, CBP has a mission. You should understand that mission before you even get into the interviewing arena, because a lot of your answers should reflect the mission of CBP. That's just basic there, right? If you're answering questions without showing any kind of reflection of the CBP mission, it's going to be a problem. The reason why is because the people who you're interviewing are always in and around and about the mission. That's their job. So you have to understand that. Let me give you a bonus here too, you guys. Whether you go through me or whoever yourself, I don't care, whatever it is, you have to do repetition. You have to understand who you're talking to, right? You're not talking to civilians. You're not talking to a lieutenant in the military. You're talking to a paramilitary style people that are in front of you. You have to know your audience. This is where even my vets are falling down. I got many vets who say, oh, I thought I was going to pass because I'm a veteran. It's not enough. It's not enough to be a veteran. You have to know your homework, know your subject matter, know who you're talking to, know how to answer, know your cadence, your voice control, your emotional maturity. You have to know all that. It's a lot to know. This is why they have it over a 60% fail rate. That's the deal. Now listen guys, your military background can help you, but you must know how to present it the right way, or otherwise what happens? It becomes a liability. I don't care what branch you come from. If you don't know how to speak about your past military in a positive way that shows you understand their mission, it's going to become a liability. I've seen it many, many times over the years. You can't do that. If you guys want help with CBP and you're a veteran as well, let me know. Link down below. Get it to my calendar. I'll help you out. I myself am a vet. United States Air Force Military Police, 833rd Security Police Squadron, Holloman Air Force Base. I was there myself, guys. I also served. So thank you for you guys for your service as well. You take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.